Hello everyone, my name is Ben and I'm from the Class 100 training team. I'm here to talk to you today about how to use the online class features. So let's jump straight in with what we can see on our screens. Now you can see here on the right hand side we have the class PPT. On the left hand side we will have the student class live feed. Down here at the bottom we have a number of things. We have the teacher's video window and we also have the game, scoreboard and platform section. Now I want to draw your attention to the teacher's feed. If you have a look you can see that we are down at the bottom, so my eye line is going down. Now because we want to look at the students we often have to look directly into the camera, meaning our peripheral vision is taken up by everything that's on the screen and it's actually quite difficult to do. So if you've installed the latest version of Chrome and you've opened this using Chrome, then it's quite easy for you to change that. What I'd like you to do is right click on your video screen and choose picture in picture. This will allow you to look directly into the camera, and from there you can stay engaged with your students as well as look at the rest of the screen a lot more easily. So moving on. The PPT is made up of a number of slides. To move from one slide to the next, we click the right function and that will allow us to move to the next slide. If we choose the left function, we will go back. If we choose the up function, we will see all of the slides on our PPT. Now we can use the slide bar and we can slide through all of the slides and select the one that we need. If we just press that down, it is gone. A good thing to note is that the school cannot see this. Only you, the teacher, can see this. So you can open this at any time. You'll see at the top we have our toolbar with 7 functions. This is the cursor function which allows us to select. Now we have nothing to select at the moment, so let's jump right into that. We've got 2 types of shapes that we use for building language and interacting with our students. Now one of the things that is really useful for teachers is moving from word to word, or getting girls and boys to read different parts of stories or different parts of the text. Now in order for us to do that, what we need to do is show them visually what we would like them to read. So I'm going to click on the square function, I'm going to drag, hold and let go, and this creates a box window for me. If I want to select that box, I can then go back to my select function and tap on the box. This allows me to now move the box around without needing to create new boxes. I can also resize this box, which means I also don't need to create new boxes. If I want girls and boys to read different things, then I might create 2 boxes. But how do they know the difference? Well, we can change the color. So if we go into our palette function, you can see a whole host of colors. But what you can also see is 4 circles. These are circles of size. Now, if I choose the 3rd circle, this creates a new type of thickness on our box. They're still blue, so it still would be quite difficult for girls and boys to notice the difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click, not single click, double click, get rid of everything on our page, and I'm going to say blue for boys and pink for girls. And there we go. It's exactly the same process repeated when we are choosing the circle function. Just here we have our type function. If I click here, this is where it will allow me to type. I can do this anywhere on the screen, but try to remember that you're looking for contrasting colors. If I type here, it's a little bit difficult for the students to see. So I want to choose it and put it onto a contrasting color. There, much better. Once that's done, I can also delete that, and I can use the draw function. Now, please be aware that this is a useful function, but quite messy. So only use this function when you absolutely need to. For example, highlighting stress on words, or when you are really in a pickle and you just want to quickly highlight something for the students to repeat in order for you to get a better understanding of their abilities. Now, I'm going to unclick and delete everything there. And you'll notice that when I'm choosing the line, or I am writing text, or I am making a circle or square, they are all thick. If I change this and do the same thing again, it is now thinner. And that is the same across all of those toolbar functions. So please be very aware of this. You might, for example, want to write something down, and you think, obviously, yes, it needs to be quite easy to see. Students at the back and students at the front need to be able to see this. So obviously, you're going to want something that matches their needs. But when it comes to the square function, oops, I've got a very thick box which is cutting off some parts of other words. So just try to be aware of that when you are moving through. Now, as I said, you can select the box by tapping the cursor and tapping the box and resizing. Now, that's about it for those functions. But we can see we've got another set of functions down here on the right. These are our pop-up functions. When there is listening on the PPTs, there is actually no toolbar along the top. Don't worry, you can bring it back at any point just by pressing the draw or toolbar function here on the right. So just toggle that on and off, and there you go. We also have a whiteboard. So when you're doing corrections, giving your name, anything like that, you can certainly use the whiteboard. So what you'll notice straight from the get-go is, oh no, my text function on my PPT was much bigger, and now it's very small on my whiteboard. That's because they're not connected together. So you will need to go into the palette and choose the size and color that you want to type in. So that's the toggle on off, the whiteboard. Now we're going to move on to the dice. Dice. We have a lot of games that we love to play here at Class 100, and we have a dice function for that. We can click the replay function, or we can just toggle this on and off, and it will spin every time. Now, what do we use the dice function with? Well, let's quickly have a look at this scoreboard at the bottom. This scoreboard is something that you need to make at the beginning of the class. So we can click Add Item here, and we can change the name. I'm just going to say boys, and I'm going to say girls. Obviously, we don't want to give 10 points for every single answer because not all answers are the same. Some are better than others, and you need to reflect that in your scoring. So we might say 8 points for the boys and 10 points for the girls. We will click, but it will reset back to the default of 10 points. In order for the students to keep track on who is ahead, we click Show Table. And on here, we can now see the ranking and how many points they have. This is a great way to build student excitement during the classes. So once that's done, we've explained most of the features. But let's look at some of the more fun features. Emojis. We have a lot of cool emojis. This is Ollie. He's our brand ambassador and the main symbol of our company. So when we click on the first emoji, you've got him clapping. This is a great way to get the children to clap along with you. Who can guess what this means? Yes, it means a mistake. Now, these are great for younger classes, but for older classes, they are not as useful. So please be aware of that when you are using these functions. When we want the students to read or do a test slide, what we want to do is take our slide full screen. So we press full screen. You can see here a red box will come up that says PPT full screen mode. Students can't see you now. The only thing they will see is the full screen of the PPT. Now this is in our lesson guides and does tell you when to use this function, but please do be aware this function is needed in order to create a certain level of engagement and concentration during certain parts of our classes. So let's click off, and there we go. All right, so that covers most of what we are going to be talking about today. There is one more small thing, and that is the clock here in the corner. This is your countdown timer. When you join a class, it will tell you how much time you have for the class. When you finish your class, it will come to 0. However, your class is not finished at 0. You have a 5-minute buffer. That buffer will allow you to go over into a 5-minute period, but will not tell you when you are finished that 5-minute buffer. In fact, the class will completely cut out, meaning the students are left looking at a black screen thinking, where's the teacher? What happened? Is it a technical fault? So please be aware that you have that 5-minute buffer window, but that is it. This is your time to wrap up and say goodbye. Okay, folks, that's it for me today. I'll see you again in some future videos, but for now, thanks very much. Bye-bye.